This is number 56, presented by Balado Tires, two locations here in Miami to serve you better. Tyler, number 56. Are you ready to rumble?
56. I was more familiar with this guy because of his sports bar chain. He has a good recipe for
No,
some
no,
chicken
yeah,
wings.
but remember also the bagels. The bagels, Tyler. He's the bagel guy.
I didn't know about the bagels either. Okay, so
Yeah,
he's an entrepreneur. This man. Well, who are we talking about? Let him know who we're talking about.
we're talking about Offerdahl, the
Oh,
linebacker. That's what he's the bagel guy. Now, Bo Camper is the sports. He's got the those sports restaurants which are very famous here in South Florida. Also, yes.
yeah. There's also the offer dolls off the grill. I believe is what his sports
Uh,
bar is called.
I
He's
don't
got
know if
every
he's
he's got a
still
lot going.
around. Maybe he's still around. I don't know. I tried the bagels; are good.
Well, enough about the food. What did he do on the football field?
On the football field, well, yes, he did a lot, Tyler. From 86 to 93, five-time Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year in 1986, one of the best linebackers when you think about it in the history of the Miami Dolphins.
Definitely. And speaking of the Miami Dolphins, yeah, it's like good and bad news at the same time after that win against the Jets. Obviously, encouraging to get the win against a team who was better than their record reflects. The Jets played with stayed in the game with a lot of solid teams last year. And then you see Tyreek Hill's leg snap almost in half, like one of the more gruesome injuries I've ever seen in my life. At least live at the very least. And you look at the rest of this team's season. Unf- Unfortunately, Hill is the person who's baked in as their number one receiver, but you also take into account they're paying Jalen Waddle to be a number one receiver as well. He has in my opinion, the capabilities to be a number one receiver. He handled that workload as a rookie. I don't know if people remember. It's a guy who had 100 plus catches as a rookie for the Dolphins. So he's proven that he can deal with that workload. In recent years, he's been bitten by the injury bug. He's had to deal with that. But I think he could step up as this team's number one receiver. Obviously, there's no replacing Tyreek Hill, but this injury, I guess my point is this injury would affect a lot of other teams more than it is affecting the Dolphins right now due to their depth at the position.
Yeah, and they have the Panthers coming up, a team that I think they can handle, and they'll go 2-3 if they get the win, and then they got the Chargers coming up, so they have an opportunity to really step up and maybe, and I think it's going to be hard, being a competition for a playoff spot. But some of those guys have to step up, Tyler. You mentioned Waddle, but also Ashan. I think Darren Waller, and he showed it in his first appearance, catching two touchdowns. So those guys have to step up. The offensive line has some injuries, so some of those guys have to come back. And I think they'll be okay in this game. This is a game that they can handle. They have to play more of a balanced offense now. They don't have Hill, so they have to run the ball more consistently. And if they can do that, and the defense has to play a lot better, especially against the run. They're one of the worst teams against the run in the league, number 30 coming into the Panthers game, and allowing 158 yards per game. That's too many yards, and they're suffering in the middle of that defensive line with the two rookies. Grant has not played up to the level that they're expecting for a number one pick, and even Sealer, with the exception of last week's games, he played a lot better versus the Jets. He has not played up to the level that is required. So if they get those things going, I think they might be okay. But losing Hill is a big loss. And they have to realize, Tyler, and I think they realized that the last 10 or 12 games of last year, that maybe that vertical gain is not going to be there for them most of the time, and you have to adjust. And a lot of things are adjusting in the NFL because that vertical gain is not only being taken away from the Dolphins, it's being taken away from a lot of things in the league. A lot of two deep cover with the safeties. You see that a lot. So you have to adjust and and make the adjustments and make it happen. But I believe that this is a game that they can handle.
I agree. I think just, I mean, to me, more of the issues are going to be defensively. The New York Jets should not have put up that many points on you. I know Anthony Weaver kind of went into the game with this big motivational speech that didn't really seem to do much, frankly. It's issues of but portions of the team that you thought were going to be strong suits. You head into the season now, and it's like, we knew that the defensive backs may have been bad. We knew that, this team's offensive line wasn't going to be particularly great, but no one expected the linebackers to be playing as poorly as they are, the defensive back to be struggling to get some type of push up front. Those were issues that were not expected. And until that gets addressed, it's just going to, I mean, it's almost like a team that it's like unbalanced in some aspects. You have some aspects where they're among the best in the NFL, among the more talented and more deep, but it's just never going to happen until things get fully ironed out. So I do think defensively they're going to have to figure something out, whether it's more versatility with their fronts, figuring out what defensive scheme best suits the skill set of this team. But Weaver's not particularly new. He's familiar with this team. He should know how to cater to them by this point. So I guess that's really the more concerning aspect about it. You can yell as much as you want. You can give them some big pregame speech. These guys are already motivated. They know what their job is. They got to this point for a reason. Yelling isn't going to fix these problems. And, that was something that I noticed, but I also think, sitting here and complaining about it won't do that much either. So moving on to actually, we got
Well,
an ad
no,
read
moving on.
coming up.
Hey, we cannot forget Balado tires, Tyler.
I was going to say,
Balado tires. If you need tires, I can send them to you by fax. By the way, I have a fax machine that is very talented. It's very good. Uh, no, just kidding. But if you need tires, 63 years in the business. Balado tires, 27th Avenue Northwest and 16th Street, and also Southwest 8th Street and 67th Avenue. Very competitive with their prices, a family business, and of course, the personal service that you deserve. Also offering brake service, Balado tires. And you were saying?
oh, we were actually moving on to the team who's playing a little bit better. We got the Miami Hurricanes rivalry week, Seminole week.
A little better.
A little bit better, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the stats. Carson Beck. I'll throw this out to you first. We'll do a little Miami trivia early on. If you had to guess among all ACC quarterbacks in terms of passing yards, where does Carson Beck rank?
I don't know, Tyler, number three, number four,
13th.
13th.
He's
You,
he's the
but you
worst
said you
starting
said what was the stat that you gave me?
most
Passing
passing
yards,
yards
total
in the
passing yards.
ACC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have to throw for 350 yards per game.
Well, who have they played against that he's had to do that?
No, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to throw for 350. Yeah, no, I'm just telling
Well,
you that makes a big difference, Tyler. It
I,
makes a big difference. Let's be honest with our assessment. If you need to have something because you have nothing else, some guys those get those really great stats because they have to. I mean, they don't have much else, and they have a good arm. They have a couple of good receivers, and they might throw for 330, 340 yards. But did they win 3 out of the 4 games that they played? Did they win the 4 games that they played?
yeah,
That's the
but
question. To be
I,
honest,
I get what you're saying, but I also think that win against Florida would have been a lot less ugly if he had some more passing yards.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
That was the first time they really went up against. I mean, we see how Notre Dame's played this year. I mean, I don't even we can count that as an
Well,
impressive
but
win.
Notre Dame is a talented team. Notre Dame, and the defensive backfield is one of the best defensive backfields in the country. Coming into their first game versus UM, they might not be playing up to the level that they should be playing at, but they're considered one of the top defensive
Well,
backfields in
if
the country.
I'm not mistaken, Notre Dame only had one returning starter on their defensive backfield from that national championship team. There's
Yeah.
Jordan Clark, who left, Love that left, but regardless, I think when he has, and even against Notre Dame, he wasn't necessarily wowing me, but against Florida, a team that does have that good defensive backfield, we saw the interception of Kermani McLean, and this Florida State team, all that they got their first loss, so it won't be the battle of the undefeateds anymore. Still the 18th ranked team in the country, still a solid team, particularly a solid defense.
And
Obviously,
and that great running game, Tyler, number 2 in the country. The
Yeah,
running
well,
game is
the
very
running
good.
game, is actually Florida State's quarterback is the only starting quarterback in the ACC who was thrown for less passing yards than Carson Beck. But what he does is run the ball very well. He's about 5'9", 5'10", and he's just a threat with his legs. And they also have some solid running backs back there as well. But Miami also has one of the best defensive lines in the country. They have the second best, according to Pro Football Focus, the second best overall defense in the country right now. Obviously, you got those guys like Ruben Bain. Then you get to the front seven, those linebackers. So I do think defensively, this team is a good match for a team like Florida State, who has those types of strengths. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, yeah, and it take you to third down and long, and then what is Castellanos going to do when he's got
Right.
3rd and 8 and 3rd and 7? It gets complicated. He can get out and make a run for 10 yards a couple of times, but he's going to have to throw the ball with some success. And Miami's going to take him to 3rd down and 7 and 8 quite a bit. It's going to take him there. I'm pretty sure of that. So what is he going to do? That makes a big difference. Still, Miami's got to move the ball. They've got to score points because this thing is one of the highest scoring teams in the country. I think they're number one. So of course they haven't played much of anybody outside of outside of Alabama, but Virginia got a win, but Virginia is not really not even a top 20 team. I think they're ranked, but they're going to have some losses this year. So that offense is tough, but Miami's offense also has to play up to the level that they can, and then Carson Beck comes into question right there. He's got to play at a high level because they're not going to be able to probably just run all over the Seminoles. So it should be a very interesting game, Tyler. I think that it's a close game, and hopefully Miami can get the win, something like 27-24, 30-27, something like that. I see that game going in that direction. But we have also Inter Miami, Tyler, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
we
tell
got
me.
Inter Miami. I get into the Inter Miami because Tyler doesn't want to touch Inter Miami too much. But Inter Miami, they got three remaining games. They're number three in the East still, with 56 points. They got New England this Saturday. Then they're 1 week from Saturday. They have Atlanta at home, both games at home, and they finish up at Nashville in 2 weeks. So, those are all games that they could handle. I still believe that they have a very remote shot at number one in the East, most likely number two, and then they'll be in good shape for the playoffs. But they got beat last game in Chicago, 5 goals to 3. So that's the thing that I worry the most about Messi and company, and that's their defensive output, and that speed sometimes kills them. And 5-3 against Chicago is not something that is accepted if you're going to try to really win the MLS Cup. And that is the last title that Messi and company have an opportunity of winning this season. And, hopefully they can do it. Balado Tyler, very important, 63 years established in Miami. Two locations, Northwest 16th Street and also Southwest 8th Street and 67th Avenue. Family business, also offering brake service. You need tires. Balado Tires is the answer.
We got our fantasy football segment. I'm going to take kind of
I like that.
a bit of a different track than we've been doing. I've gone more of the positive route. You guys need to start this person. He's playing so good. I'm going to tell you about a guy that you probably shouldn't start this week, and he's actually been playing from a fantasy perspective very good. Emeka Ugbuka. He plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's gotten off to a great start this season. I believe he's caught a touchdown in every single game that he's played at this point. But here's the issue with this guy. First of all, they're going against the Seattle Seahawks, which has one of the best defensive backfields in the NFL. Second of all, do you remember Kenny Stills from the Dolphins?
Yes.
With Kenny Stills, I'm not sure if you remember, the Dolphins would throw 4 passes a game to Kenny Stills, and it was either he catches a touchdown or he does nothing. That's what That's what Ubuka's role right now with this team is. He's their deep threat, but he also has, I think, I believe he's 69th in the NFL in separation percentage, which means he's not getting open on his routes. He's super fast, so once a game, Baker Mayfield finds him on one of these deep passes, and especially as a rookie, teams aren't game planning for him as they would other players who are more proven and established in the NFL. But this guy, it's almost like boom or bust, make or miss. He's either going to have a great game or he's going to do nothing because they throw him the ball at max 5 times a game. Up to this point, it's gone great. The gamble has paid off if you started him. This might be the week where it's not going to. And maybe
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, and I try to keep things positive, but as an owner, I have him in fantasy, and I'm just kind of looking at it right now this week, and I'm like, do I want to do this? Should I just start somebody that may not score touchdowns, but they're going to get their targets? They're a wide receiver 1, and I think that would be the safer bet. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks down the line, he's going to be fully integrated into this offense and just be the number 1 who gets those 8, 10, 12 targets a game. Right now, he's not that guy, and going against a defense who's game planning, they're going to be ready for this. I'd be very surprised if he scores again this week.
All right. I don't want to forget the Miami Heat. Miami Heat playing their first preseason game Saturday versus the Magic in Puerto Rico. We have a player with Hispanic roots, and that his mother is Puerto Rican, Thompson. He's got an Exhibit 10 contract, so he will be playing in that game. They have some guards out with injuries, nothing serious. And some of those young guys, the Jovic, the Jaques Jr., the Larsons, those young guys with the accents of a hero, they have to step up now, especially at the beginning of the season. But we get into recognizing outstanding Hispanic athletes, Tyler. And we do this in Spanish usually, and we're going to do it again. Reconociendo a grandes atletas hispanos, hoy reconocemos a Edison Cavani, delantero uruguayo, ha tenido una brillante carrera y a los 38 años todavía activo, es figura principal como delantero y capitán de Boca Juniors en la Liga Argentina. Comenzó en el Danubio de Uruguay y pasó al Palermo. Posteriormente en la Liga Italiana, eso en el 2007, comenzó a jugar en Europa. También militó en el Napoli, PSG, Manchester United y Valencia. Ha hecho 136 apariciones con la selección uruguaya, anotando 58 goles a nivel internacional. Número 2, detrás de Luis Suárez en la historia de la selección uruguaya. Fue jugador del año en Italia en la campaña 2016-2017. En el 2011 ganó la Copa América con Uruguay. Ha ganado más de 20 títulos en su carrera, logrando más de 460 goles. Una de las grandes figuras del fútbol latinoamericano, sin duda, Edison Cavani. And Balado Tigers, Tyler. They are here again. Balado Tigers, 2 locations, Northwest 27th Avenue and 16th Street, also Southwest 8th Street and 67th Avenue. Very competitive with their prices. A family business. If you're thinking of tires, Balado Tires. By the way, I practiced a little bit and my English, you will have to recognize, Tyler, that I did better this time around.
Yeah, I did.
Well, you recognize that? Yeah, I'm doing a little better. Yes, a little more practice. Sometimes I get into Spanish too much and I forget my English. I have to, do better.
No. I think you're a little bit too hard on yourself when it
Really?
comes to that. Yeah. You gotta
Okay.
you speak for pretty solid English, I would say.
All
Now,
right. Thank you. You're very kind. You're very kind.
Only on camera.
Uh,
So we'll move on to our last special segment of the day, Miami sports trivia. You were on a hot streak, and then I had to humble you the past couple.
yeah,
of
you
weeks.
got me.
Yeah. I was making it a little bit too easy. This one should be easy. I'll give you. You get 2 wrong answers here.
Wow, that's great.
Because it's a top 3. So you can get a couple wrong answers, but you need to get all 3 by the end of it. So you get 5 tries. Who name me the top? It doesn't have to be in order. Top three most shots blocked in Miami Heat history. The three guys who have blocked the most shots in Miami Heat history. You get five
Adebayo,
guys.
Adebayo,
No,
no.
he is five. You're close. He'll probably be
Uh,
there by the end of the season.
um, oh my God, the one that is easy should be number one is the 7 footer that came in as a free agent.
You
He
should know
was
his
not
name.
drafted. Huh?
Yes, you should.
You
Well,
see,
there's
but oh, I have it right in I have it right here. Whiteside.
yes. Okay, that's number
Oh,
three.
he's number three.
Yes,
Alonso Morning.
Alonzo Mourning is number one by far. He has double more than anybody else.
Ronnie Cycli.
Ronnie Cycli's number four. Number two, you have one more chance. Think outside of the box here. Not necessarily. It doesn't. You know who this guy is for sure, but you may not think that he'd be in the blocked list. But just remember, there's one thing.
Longevity, right? Played a lot.
Yes,
Dwayne Wade.
there you go. Number two. Dwayne Wade who also Dwayne Wade has the most shots blocked by a guard in NBA history. So
That's
he's the
right.
best, he's the best shot blocking guard ever. 812 blocks in a Miami Heat uniform.
Well, the playoffs in baseball, Tyler, are going on. We got Yankees, we got Dodgers, we got Blue Jays, Milwaukee, and some new teams are involved. So that's interesting. And maybe Yankees, Dodgers, that would be a great World Series. So we have a Marlins question for you, and it's not that easy, but I'm going to give you opportunities, just like you gave me. Uh, there's four guys here, four names because the question is the following. So I'm giving you already the number. Who are the National League rookies of the year in Marlins history? There are four of them, Tyler. If you give me three, that is good enough. Three is good enough.
Okay,
There
I
are
got
four of them.
Jose Fernandez.
Got one. That's the
Yeah.
most recent one. 2000 and when was it? 2013.
I got one that I bet you don't even think I know, but I know. Chris Coughlin.
That's right. That
Yeah.
might be the most difficult one, Tyler. 2009, because then the first one, the first one, which was 2003, was a
That was
very
That was
popular. What?
Miguel Cabrera. Like
No, very popular. Look at my left hand. Very popular.
no, it wasn't. Wait. Oh, it was Dontrell Willis, D Train.
That's right, Dr. Willis. And then
I have one more try.
the other one, Dr. Willis, that was 2003. And then came 2006.
Oh
A guy that was a very good hitter played
no,
shortstop.
you don't need to make it easy for me. I know who it is. This is one of my childhood heroes, Mr. Hanley Ramirez.
That's right.
That's my
That's
guy.
right. You went with Hanley. I mean, you went with Cabrera because Cabrera, is very young. But, I think he was like 20 years old and very young. He had he started at a great level in the championship team, but he was not the rookie of the year that year. So, you know, repeating again, Jose Fernandez, 2013, Coughlin, 2009, Ramirez, 2006, and Dontrell Willis, 2003. Tyler, you got it. You got it. We got to give
Maybe
you
that'll be
credit.
our next investigation will be what happened to Chris Coughlin, man. I thought he was gonna be great, and then he just
Yeah,
kinda, that's how it
he had
goes.
a very promising career. The other three did a lot better, but then we had the tremendous, really very sad situation with Jose Fernandez that could have been, one of the great pitchers probably in Maryland's history, and God knows what he could have done at the major league level if he could have, kept his career going. Tyler, we have done it again. Number 56. Follow us, and give us likes and share. Share Abuelo and the Nieto. You don't have too many Abuelo and the Nieto doing sports podcast here. So, come on, guys and girls, we need some support out there. So uh, we're in TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. We're on. We're on. You know,
We're in, we're on, we're
the,
everywhere.
the chief says that we're on, and I'm supposed to say that we're on. So we've done it again, Tyler. What do we say?
Hasta luego.
Arrivederci.
There we go. All right.